So you may be shocked to learn that this minister, who prizes compassion and respect of others, was not the most docile of children. The most common phrase out of my mouth was, "You're not the boss of me." And holding back laughter, my parents made me do whatever I was resisting. I was a contrarian, so it almost didn't matter what they were asking me to do. Unlike my brother, who quietly walked to his room when he was put on timeout, my parents had to hold the door shut because I was trying to kick it down. I was destined to be you. And now that I have a stubborn daughter of my own, in addition to being told that I'm receiving my just desserts, I've been thinking a little more about what was behind the urge to fight my parents. And as humorous as the words were, I think saying, "You're not the boss of me," did point to something deeper about how little control kids have over their worlds. They're told when to sleep, when to eat, when to leave the house, when they need to go home. Generally, we tell them what's best for them, and we create options that they might have. But as aware as I am that no is one of my daughter's favorite words, truthfully, I probably say it more. For good reason. Left to her own devices, she'd cannonball off the couch because it looked fun. We need to protect them. And yet, we want to balance that with an understanding that absolutely nobody can own them other than themselves. This is why I think ownership can be a problematic concept for kids. Because it's awfully hard to tell the difference between ownership and guardianship. And I think what I was fighting my parents on was a feeling that I didn't actually belong to myself, which obviously was never the intended message. But kids can only see the power dynamics and not the differences between caring for something or someone that is fundamentally not yours and believing that person or thing truly belongs to you and you alone. And this feels strangely familiar as a sentiment to our relationship with church. Because we talk a lot about power and ownership when it comes to church systems. But so often we reserve the word stewardship for our fundraising campaign, rather than using it in our broader relationship with the community. And I think this is in part because we've internalized a lot of biblical theology without studying any of its context. The parable in the Bible that is most associated with stewardship is that of the 3 servants and the talents. The gist of the story is that a landlord is leaving his property for a while and entrusts 3 of his servants with money of his called talents. One is given 5, the second is given 2, and the third is given 1. The first 2 trade and invest with their talents, doubling what they had. But the third buries his 1 talent in the ground. When the landlord returns, he rewards the 2 who invested his wealth, giving them more in kind, and punishes the one who did nothing with the money. This is probably one of the most misunderstood parables in the Bible. Because taken literally, it's a terrible story. The poor should be punished and the rich rewarded. But context matters. And it is very obviously supposed to be a metaphor for something else. What immediately follows this parable is Jesus' better-known words, "For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. Truly I say to you, as you did it to one of the least of these, my brethren, you did it to me. The reason we focus so heavily on money as the definition of stewardship is because we've internalized the idea to invest talents without understanding what is meant by talents. It is a lesson in stewardship. But stewardship here means being a caretaker, a guardian for the most vulnerable, investing what you have, your internal talents, in loving those most in need of love. This is something that I believe we excel at. Because I don't think most of us look at UUCIL and believe we own it. That it's ours for us to do with as we please. Because we know that it's bigger than us. No one person can own UUCIL. And if one person were to try, that would become a toxic relationship in every possible way. The Buddha says it well in one of his teachings when chastising the concept of ownership, that ownership is measured not by things, but by thoughts. And I think that's right. What Gandhi, a Hindu, the Buddha, and Jesus were all adamantly asserting as problematic in the concept of ownership was not that something could be in your care, but rather when something or someone is in your space without being in your care. As stewards, investing ourselves in a better community and a better world, we feed the hungry, clothe the naked, visit the sick, and come to the imprisoned. And I think we do this every day already. We visit the members who are stuck at home with illness. We ran a clothing drive this year. We provide nourishment as best we can for homeless communities in our area. And I am so proud of our Social Justice Committee to say that soon we will be doing an incredible program that allows homeless people with cars to use our parking lot once a week. And above all, we come to the imprisoned. When we are trapped by circumstance, loss, or struggle, we rally for people in need. We rally for each other. As your minister, my job is to care for you. But in my 6 months here, even I've experienced the resilience of this community. I'd been here a month and a half when I had to step away for a week as a result of an internal bleeding episode. And I was so uncomfortable needing to step away, but members stepped forward to take worship that Sunday so that I could recover. And I think that most of us know that far too many beloved members and friends have passed away in the last couple of years. And when that has happened, the people most affected have been able to feel the fullness of their grief, to weep and feel broken, knowing that they could be weak for a time because the community could be strong for them. Our ministry is as powerful as it is because of our heart. And I wish I could say that we didn't need money to make our ministry happen. But that is not the reality. The question becomes how we're going to invest our internal and external gifts in each other and in the broader Tri-Valley area. Do we see ourselves as owners of the church? Or do we see ourselves as stewards, guarding this place of love for generations to come? Because like parenting, what we're really doing is protecting and empowering this body of love to flourish without us one day. This is why I know that this stewardship campaign is about more than money, because it's about building a new foundation from which we spring forth. It's about asking what we're going to be the guardians of, deciding where our energy needs to be in order to spread the love and compassion we see here every day, so that we can be the community that we dream of being 10 years from now, 20 years from now. Let's figure out who and what we stand for now, so that we can ask how to expand that to include everyone. Because stewardship means that we are the guardians not just of this one voice, but of all of our voices. The voices that are here, the voices that have yet to join us, and the voices that might never find us. We steward the love that UUCIL embodies for all of them, because that is what it means to invest our talents. This month, let's invest all of who we are in all that we can be, because I have seen what UUCIL can do when we come together, and it is a sight to behold. This body of stewards is a blessing, and I know that we will usher in a new foundation for guardianship, because we are the guardians of the Tri-Valley Church Calacy. Blessed be, and amen.